Welcome back to Arcane Games and Events. This is round 5? 6?
This is round
round
six.
6. It's because I didn't cast one of the rounds. I miscounted them.
Yeah, I threw you for a loop, didn't
Yeah,
I?
round 6. I know you came out.
I
1
came
and
in on
2.
a gleaming horse like Victor
Yeah,
to save you with a lunch
save
break.
my voice. Much appreciated.
Anytime, buddy.
Coming in, round 6, the last round before top 8, and we're up. We're gonna look at a Kassai versus Katsu matchup. Setting up Nicholas Tagg versus, is that Joel?
That is Joel Recinos,
Okay, Joel
the third, in
Recinos.
fact.
Oh wow, Joel Recinos the third.
I have not met the first or second, but the third is definitely my favorite. Joel is a local player, one who we both know and love, and he's
Yeah, and I think
pretty outstanding.
maybe we've got Joel on. Yeah, Kassai. I think it may be the.
Was that messed up?
It might have been. I don't know. It could have. I'm also messed up, so it's very possible that I made a mistake there.
Aren't we all?
But we're looking at the shuffle.
Oh, I know
Ready?
Nick. I've played against Nick before.
Oh, awesome.
Sorry, I'm just realizing that.
Sure.
Nick's a good guy. I think from the OC. I think I ran into him at a Kingslayer Games tournament. Also a local player. Joel, however, has been having a lot of success with this Kassai deck, and today seems to be no exception.
Awesome. Yeah, coming in 4-1. Looking good. Do you know anything about the Katsu versus Kassai matchup? What are we expecting to see here?
I don't. I mean, I can take guesses, but I
Sure.
have not played either side of this matchup. These are two decks that I personally just try to stay far away from.
Right.
I'd rather beat them than play them.
Uh-huh.
Is the way I think about it. But
fair.
I would imagine it's going to be pretty grindy. I think Kassai's boots, the
Yeah.
Valiant Dynamos, are going to be a critical part of covering up breakpoints
Yep.
on the Katsu end of
Yeah,
things.
massive to be able to block for every single turn on those critical breakpoints, preventing the Katsu hero ability from triggering, preventing him from being able to search up the cards that he needs to string together those massive combos
Yeah.
that he can do.
Absolutely. We've also got a child scuffle in Joel's camera. Oh, we missed it. Darn. Nope, that's not the button. We're going right here. We're cutting the decks. Sorry, there was a really interesting kid fight going on in the background there. I wanted to see if I could get a close-up. Not nearly as interesting as what we've got going on here as the players present their equipment and decide who's going to go first.
Yeah, straightening everything out, taking deep breaths, getting ready.
Joel over here on the right. I think, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm just realizing that last match was no exception. The players on the right have taken it every single feature match.
Oh,
Is
wow.
that correct?
I
Sam was saying that earlier.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're 5-0 for the right side of the camera.
The rights are favored over the lefts.
Looking like a locked-in top 8 for the right side.
Yeah, quite possibly. We'll see if Nick has anything to say about that. Could it be a lefty upset in the final round of Swiss?
Katsu certainly hoping so.
And he's going to kick it off. Finding that blue 0 cost, here comes Harmonized Kadachi. One go again.
Just saying, I'll take some free points.
Except Joel's like, I'm going to kick that Kadachi out of your hand with my... Oh, no, he takes one. Never mind. Now he's going to kick that Kadachi. Yeah. There we go. Don't stub your toe, Joel. Toe, Joel. That's a hard one.
Say that one 5 times.
No,
fast.
I won't. Our audience has heard that way too many times.
Yeah, no, we're done with that joke. Let's move on to something more interesting.
Okay, cool. Here comes a Flusterfist in the blue. Comes in for 2. Interesting that he's throwing that out when he knows Joel's going to block it. Why might that be?
Well, I've heard that Katsu has a hero ability.
Ooh, yes, he does. Furthermore, he has a card called Bonds of Ancestry that could find the red version of that card later on in this game.
Yeah. Just taking as little damage as possible, setting up. Nicholas Tagg throwing a card into Arsenal, drawing back up to 4. Joel doing the same without the Arsenal.
So here comes Joel
with the Gorganian Tome.
That's pretty good. Do you think Nick has a Gorganian Tome teched in?
That would be interesting. It doesn't cost 0, so you won't be able to discard it for the hero ability. I can't imagine that would be any good in Katsu.
It does cost 0, I thought, right?
You're right, it does.
I was thinking it doesn't for anything.
Pitch,
pitches
right,
for nada.
Of course. So you could discard it. Which would
Yeah,
be nice.
that is interesting. I don't think Nick is going that hard though.
No.
It is always a funny proposition though. So here comes Hot Streak.
Costing 0 because he drew a card.
Probably why Joel is running that card in the first place. Here comes Blade Runner. Blade Runner is going to give Hot Streak go again, regardless of the fact that Nick has not blocked with an attack. Next weapon attack is going to come in for +3 additional.
Yeah.
Takes the 2, moving on.
Says, I don't care about your 2 vanilla.
Oh, and he pays into the Grains of Bloodspill. That's that new card from Heavy Hitters, new warrior equipment.
And we're pitching another red.
Activate Brave Forge Bracers, which means instead of coming in for 5, this is going to come in for 6. And if he blocks one attack, it'll get bumped to 7.
Yeah. Looks like an Art of War in Nicholas's hand, so he's probably going to try to send something big this turn.
Oh, does Katsu like Art of War?
He loves Art of War.
Interesting. Let's see if he can. Yeah, I mean, there is no on-hit here coming out of Joel. I'm sure he wishes this was a little bit later in the game for this turn.
Yeah, maybe he could have threatened a gold.
Yeah,
or
exactly. But Nick's just going to take 6. Probably a really good idea,
Yeah.
Especially when he's got the Art of War. Now, let's see if these Valiant Dynamos can be as critical as we thought they were going to be.
Yeah. Now, I missed the Arsenal card. Did you catch what Joel threw in the Arsenal?
I believe it was a Slice and Dice. I
Okay,
only know
Slice
that
and
because
Dice.
I saw it earlier on.
This would be a turn where you'd love to have the defense react in Arsenal, but unless I saw it very quickly, that
Was that not a Slice
would
and
have
Dice?
been a sink below.
Oh, interesting. That would be really nice to line up on this
Yeah,
yellow.
we're just gonna
Surgeon
have to
Strike.
wait and see because that could be critical for stopping these breakpoints.
So, and it's interesting though because Nick would have the exact answer for it because of the Art of War in his hand. Looks like Joel's.
Oh.
It was a sink below. I don't know.
So
what you're
he's
talking about.
over blocking this, worried about maybe some kind of attack reaction.
I can't believe that Joel is sniffing this out. This is kind of insane right now. So Nick not only needs Art of War, he needs Ancestral Empowerment as well.
And he just says, okay,
That's fine.
hide the information, come in for another 4. You can't have 2 of these, can you?
And possibly making Joel feel a little silly for his block because he's like, oh, he already had the combo line in his hand, man.
Is that a yellow Descendant Gust Wave?
It is.
Okay.
It is. So it'll get the buff, comes in for 4, go again. There's a Slice and Dice in Joel's hand. I just knew it was going to be the next cycle.
That's what it was. Premonition.
Okay.
Throwing the equipment in front. Early use of the equipment, but, this might be a fast game, so use it while you got it.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. Oh my gosh, he had the natural combo line in hand. Joel is feeling so bad about. This is what I was talking about. You weren't here, but Sam was here. When we were watching Tyler play Katsu earlier, like, Katsu is just a king of punishing you for trying to defend yourself.
You think you've got it, and he says, I have it more. The natural combo. And
I have it more. I like that.
we're going to have to see, does he have the final piece? Because he played the Descendant Gust Wave, which means that if he's got, if he's searching for a card, he's probably got it.
No. So the Fluster Fist we saw go into the graveyard was the only thing in his graveyard. Bonds will banish that card from graveyard, and then he has to find one that matches it.
Okay.
So he can't find Dishonor here, unfortunately.
Okay.
He would love to, I'm sure.
Sure, there's the Katsu ability, and then there's, of course, the Bonds
Exactly.
ability.
And Katsu is any card with combo.
Right.
So this is probably just going to be Fluster Fist.
Yep.
And then Arsenal that Art of War, which I think Nick
Saving
is
that
really
Art of
good
War
right
was
here.
a really heads-up play from Nicholas. It's so tempting. You're going 4 wide. You can get the +1 on every single card in that chain, but he says, no, I'll save it for the next turn.
Absolutely. And when you have those natural combo lines as Katsu, that's kind of the way you got to play it. It's like, this turn is good enough. I'm going to save this thing for when I really need some help out.
Yeah.
So here comes that Slice and Dice. Going to buff both of our next weapon attacks. The first one more so than the second.
Yeah. Coming in, using that Vigor token to swing. So hiding information in hand, Nicholas doesn't really know what else is coming here.
I totally lied. The first one is the +1. The second one is the +3.
Oh, I misheard you. You could have gotten away with that lie, although maybe chat wouldn't be so kind.
I'm too honest. So here comes 3. No go again yet. Let's see if Nick will give it go again by blocking with an attack. Something tells me a Katsu deck has a lot of attacks.
Yeah, I think it depends on the kind of resource curve he has, whether he wants to. And he's giving up the armor.
That probably telegraphs more the fact that Nick is going to pop off next turn
Yeah.
than anything else.
Yeah, which, so what? So what are you going to say? How are you going to force cards out of his hand at this point in the game? It doesn't seem like he's going to be able to do anything other than threaten damage, which at 31 life, you're not so upset about taking.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this Centauri Saber is going to come in for like an absolute mallet, right? Because it's got Slice and Dice and Blade Runner. So this is going to be a big bad 8.
Yeah,
I
8 is
just
a
don't
lot.
see Nick
Nah,
caring about this.
I think he's just gonna make sure he's not making a misplay. Make sure that he can actually use all 5 cards in his hand, and then he goes and takes it.
Yeah.
8 damage, going down to 23. Art of War and Arsenal.
This
See how
seems
he
all
strings
right
this
for the
turn
Katsu
together.
player. Yep. Perhaps he will actually get to crack his Mask of the Pouncing Lynx,
Ooh.
unlike our Phantom of the Fabopera a couple games ago.
Which, thinking about last turn, he could have done that
Yeah.
in order to get the Dishonor, but he says no. Playing a reserved, calculated game, making sure not to blow all of his equipment out on turn 2.
And being sure to get the value on his breaking scale, the block value on his breaking scales, and the breeze
That's a
rider
very
blades
good point.
first. And I think that's a really heads up play because these Kassai games can be so grindy. Like Kassai is just, I don't know, a lot of warrior cards are really below rate in terms of the damage that they present, but Kassai is just able to kind of eke small advantage out
Yeah.
throughout the course of a game the longer it goes. 1 from the Valiant Dynamos, 2 from the gold token generators, 3 from like big combo turns with
Yeah.
Blood on her hands and Raise an Army.
She's the definition of being able to just smoothly generate value across the course of the game, be it on offense or defense. The value from the dynamos, like you mentioned, the grains that just allows you to manage any kind of pitch you might have. And here we are starting out with a 5 attack Surging Strike.
That is probably one of the most fearsome things that a Katsu can present as the first link in the chain.
You really don't want that to hit.
Yeah, absolutely. And if Joel has the same blocks again, then he is going to stick Valiant Dynamos in front of it and a Sink Below, and Nicholas will have the punish this time in the form of the Art of War.
Yeah. Thinking about his blocks. Now, I wonder if he's thinking about maybe utilizing his Balance of Justice, a new card from heavy hitters. It would allow him to draw a card if that Art of War does get played, but he doesn't know that that Art of War is there.
Yeah, absolutely. And so in Joel's position, especially looking at his hand, he's probably going to do exactly what you said. 2 block from the armor, 3 block from the hand, and potentially get really punished.
I see him, he keeps pulling 2 cards. Like he's thinking, maybe I need to overblock this. His awareness of the potential.
I think he says no blocks.
And they just stare at each other.
Did he? He says, what? He says, are you sure? He says, yeah, I'm sure. Just play the game.
But I'm Katsu.
Did he? He did say no blocks, right?
He did a thing with his hand.
That seems pretty definitive on Joel's end. Nicholas is wondering if he should do Art of War at this point. And at this point, yeah, you absolutely should, I think, because Joel knows you have some sort of combat trick. Yeah.
There it is.
Good call.
And he says, okay, show me what you have. I'll take it. I'm just going to have to. He needs the information in order to be able to get good blocks and not waste value. So,
oh my gosh. He draws into the
drawing
Whelming
2.
Gust Wave.
Oh,
Now he's going to activate Katsu,
you
potentially.
can see Joel holding on to both corners of the table, knows he's in for a bumpy ride this turn.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And Nicholas showing that he's a really good Katsu player because he takes the first opportunity to pop that Mask of the Pouncing Lynx. A lot of other Katsus can be like, I'll handle this further down the chain. I'm going to see how this turn goes. He says, nope, give me that really powerful card immediately.
He smells blood in the water. Even at 25 life right now, he knows that he is going to send everything he has this turn.
But Joel remains determined and unfazed.
Look at him, just cool. He's got his 4 cards. He's got his armor. And I think he knows he needs to save his blocks for closer to the end of the chain.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, this is going to be such a massive turn. This is probably why Katsu players play Katsu.
Mm-hmm. It must feel so good playing all these cards out in a single turn.
So, have we seen what he's found yet?
He's looking for something else.
Maybe he's waiting on the world to change. So we're probably going to find Bonds. What does he have in his graveyard? I believe he still has his Fluster Fist, so he could find the value play of a 0 for 4 off of a Bonds of Ancestry. Man, this is so wild. Joel's just sitting there being like, what are you going to do to me?
Yeah, there's the Bonds. Red.
Bonds is a critical part of this. The only dishonor he has besides his deck is in his pitch zone, so we're probably not going to see a dishonor here unless he did. It all depends on whether he's fetching this with Mask or Katsu.
Right, yeah. So he gets to basically find 2 cards from his deck. He can do whatever he wants. Magical Christmas Land is something that Katsu can do, unlike most decks.
I didn't know Katsu was a Christmas hero.
Yeah, he's gifting his opponent what we call lethal damage.
That doesn't
wrapped
sound like
up
a good gift.
In a beautiful bow.
That sounds like what Hans Gruber gave, what's his name in Die Hard, also a Christmas movie.
Nice. Looping it back around, keeping it on theme.
Dear Diary. It's Christmas in March here at the Arcane Games and Events Open Series. We still have a Surging Strike for 6 on the chain. Sponsored by Collector Legion, of course, where we keep Ethan Van Sant chained up to a radiator until he's ready to play Levia.
So we've got the Gust Wave. Which Gust Wave is this, and why does it matter?
I can't see because there's dice
It's
on
the Descendant Gust Wave, and it matters because this is the one that activates the final card in the chain.
Which
the one that'll turn off the hero power. The one that has a name.
The one called Dishonor?
The one called Dishonor.
The Christmas card?
Excellent. They're all Christmas cards.
Okay, so we've blocked this one out with a Blade Runner and 2 pieces of equipment. Then we go Bonds. So Bonds is the card that cannot find Dishonor critically.
Right. Yeah, he needs to have already grabbed it.
Oh, he did not pop Mask of the Pouncing Lynx.
What?
That's why we're missing a couple cards
so
here.
he's playing very reserved here, deciding to keep the option. That's interesting.
It's potentially because I think like for maximum damage, the Katsu player needs to find either Tenacity or Salt the Wound. Maybe he's feeling
that
like
makes a lot of sense. So you need to save the mask for once the other player either doesn't block or blocks.
Potentially.
Especially with all the equipment.
Yeah, I think there's probably a lot of merit to going and finding the Dishonor there, but Nicholas Tagg perhaps has a little better of a handle on this Katsu deck than I do.
Yep, and it looks like he's going and finding another Descendant Gust Wave.
Probably just wants to keep the Go Again going?
Yeah, he can keep the Go Again going. It doesn't gain the bonus power, but it has Go Again and will allow him to continue this chain.
It all depends on what he has left in his hand, because we still have one more card. We still have Tunic online.
It looked like another Bonds.
Did it really? Oh, this is going to be nasty then.
He's going wide.
So this is potentially going to be a Tunic activation,
Yep.
Descendant Gust Wave into Bonds.
Ooh, this Art of War is getting a ton of value.
Oh, that's so painful to watch for Joel. This is a wide, wide turn. Probably means that he can take the time to wait and activate Mask of the Pouncing Lynx.
Makes a lot of sense.
Chances are Joel just can't block out the rest of this turn.
Yep. And there it is. Unless he's doing that thing he did earlier where he just puts it there and puts it back.
Nick is just out here to bamboozle the casters.
Yeah.
I don't appreciate
He's just
that.
reminding us that he has the option.
Fair enough. And the option is the reason to play Katsu. It's all about the implication, isn't it?
That's right. It's always sunny in California.
Except for on this dark day for Joel Recinos as he stares down what's probably going to be a 6-chain Katsu, 6-link Katsu chain.
Yeah. Yeah. Which if that mask goes and grabs,
he pops
there it is. And it looks like he's only blocked with 2 cards, so it's probably not going to be the Tenacity.
Yeah, no, probably not. It could potentially be Dishonor at this point because Dishonor has 2 or less power.
Joel still has 4 cards in hand. Nicholas is probably thinking, I got to just push the damage. I don't think that the Bonds is, or I'm sorry, I don't think the Dishonor is going to be able to hit.
Yeah, and I think that's a super valid point. It's interesting from a value standpoint for Nick because you're kind of like I would really think that Joel's going to give me a lot more cards here,
Yeah.
which makes you want to reach for that tenacity, because critically tenacity counts equipment cards on the chain as well.
Equipment are cards. And I think Joel is just leaning into that life lead that he built up earlier on in the game and just saying, look, I know the options you have. I'm going to try to prevent as many options as I can because I can play from parity. You can present damage as long as you're not turning off my hero power, as long as you're not catching me with cards that, you know, once I can't block, that's when Joel is really in trouble, is when he's being threatened with these on-hit triggers that he can't say anything about. But he just says, go ahead, show me what you got.
It's so difficult on Joel's end of the spectrum, or I'm sorry, on his side of the table.
Yeah.
Because this is just going to be so much damage coming through. Like this is the Katsu chain that you dream about when you are thinking about ninja lines. Because not only has he activated Art of War, he's drawn a bunch of extra cards, he's going super wide, but every single card in this chain is going to be red, except for Dishonor, of course. So he does go ahead and find the Dishonor, deciding that tenacity, salt the wound, more damage, that's all good. I want to turn off the text on Kassai of the Golden Sands.
Now, it looks like Joel already used his Balance of Justice. It's sitting there upside down. Did he get the block value out of it?
He did, because we already have a Blade Runner on
good.
The combat chain.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah, heads up play from Joel.
There is the Dishonor. Coming in for 5. So what I thought was giving it go again.
Oh, so no, so this has to be on hit. He might be indicating that he activated those on the Bonds of Ancestry.
Okay.
That is another critical part of the Katsu pop-off turn.
This is such a string that he's putting together. I don't know what his last card is, but he still has the Descendant sitting.
So if you were right, if that card in his hand is a Bonds of Ancestry, he's going to be able to Tunic trigger, Descendant Gustwave, into Bonds, find another probably 0 for 4. In this case, on an Art of War turn, 0 for 5.
And he's forcing 2 cards out. And is he then also blocking with the equipment there for a total of 7?
It looks...
He's saying, I do not want to see you pump this.
Why? That is interesting. I wonder why Joel would do that.
Unless this card blocks 2. Is this
no, that card is this round's on me, which does block 3. You are correct in terms of the blocks.
Interesting.
Unless the yeah, that's really interesting.
Taking 4 and then just a casual 4 more.
This Bonds
so it was Descendant into
this Bond should be coming in for 5 because Art of War is active.
This is it looks like I was wrong and that this is a Descendant into a 100 wins.
100 wins.
Yeah,
that's
100 wins. So just a casual 4 more, threatening to bring Joel down to 12 with 2 cards in hand. Joel's thinking about, where to go from here. He's got the Blade Runner in hand. He could just, get the counter off boots and keep playing the value game. And that's what he chooses to do, taking 4 more damage, I believe. Hasn't updated
we'll see
on
about
screen
the
yet,
totals.
but cleaning it up.
We have seen
what a turn.
Really incredible Katsu combat chains this tournament. Again, I really think this deck is a sleeper for Pro Tour. I think it's a lot of people aren't giving it the attention it deserves.
Well, what I heard is that it's got a tough match into Victor, but Victor might be sort of falling off. We only had 1 show up today at the AGE event, and
that's only because you're not playing, though.
Well, we could have been 2, but that's still not a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder how his Bravo matchup is. You have some insight into that,
right?
I
mean, people say that Bravo's favored, but I haven't lost to a Bravo yet.
Interesting. Okay, so here comes Hot Streak. This is 2. Looks like Joel is giving it go again with Blade Runner. We're going to take 2. That'll give Hot Streak go again. Probably, we're just going to pay into that. Get a resource for next turn. Oh, now he chooses to activate Kassai because this is a really neat little trick. You can play an attack reaction, close the chain, activate Kassai.
Now, have we still not updated life totals? I'm a little bit confused why we're sitting at 2116. It could be that I made a mistake, or it could be that we missed something.
You make a mistake for the first time ever?
In my life.
I don't buy it.
33 years I managed until today.
This really is a Christmas story. Okay, so here comes Centauri Saber for 4. I feel like Nick is not going to be scared of this in the
Well,
slightest.
remember, it is making a gold, so he might not be scared of it, but he might be thinking like, eh. And there's the D-React to cover it perfectly. So when you see the Flick-Flack in hand, that's an easy decision.
Looks like you were right, as always. Life totals get fixed back to 12.
Excellent.
21 plays 12 in the favor of Nicholas Tagg.
We'll continue that perfect streak, asking chat for a heavy dose of amnesia after our last game.
Amnesia's a card.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not one that I've seen in a while or could recite to you, but I really think it's a card.
Thankful for you being here to recite these to me, because my ability to know every card in the game I'm still working on it.
At the beginning of today, I really would have thought Amnesia was more relevant than Boulder Trap, but last game proved that otherwise. So here goes Nicholas Tagg. I believe he's going to get to start off with another Surging Strike.
Yep, the
And
red
the
one
red
coming in
again.
for 5.
Absolutely stellar on this Katsu play.
And that's his 3rd one of the game, right?
No, I
that
think
his
the first
second?
one was yellow.
The first one was yellow. Okay.
That was the one that Joel covered up with both a Sync and the Valiant Dynamos
Yep.
when he was sniffing out that Art of War.
Yeah, so he's playing out his 3-card hand here. 5 go again. You know, not as threatening when the Katsu doesn't have the full grip, but still not something you just want to give him willy-nilly if you can help it.
And furthermore, Joel might be feeling a little bit more secure now because he's gotten through the massive Katsu turn.
Absolutely.
There's one every single game, right? And if you are still alive at the end of it, you're doing a little bit better than you are at the beginning of the game because there's less tension behind these blocks.
Look at this. Take it on the chin, covering it perfectly. 5 damage blocked and creates an agility token on the back end.
And agility tokens are pretty dope for Warrior, are they not?
Yeah, these are so powerful for Kassai because it allows you to just, with 1 card, swing with both of your weapons.
And all of a sudden, your two weapons, your 1 card in hand, kind of becomes like Titan's Fist, right?
Yep.
That 1 card 4 is a really good drug.
And we're really seeing the value now. The Vigor token, the Agility token, 2 cards in hand. Kassai can just kind of like keep chipping. Although this time Nicholas does have an arsenal, so he's got a little more gas in the tank, and he's got a lot of life to work with. So I don't think he cares very much if these swords hit, but you got to think that if he lets them hit too many times, if he can't push that 12 down to a 0 soon enough, he might be sitting in the back seat.
Yeah, it's possible. Doesn't seem like Joel is going to be able to present any on-hits this turn, though, because I believe he banished all of his yellows out of his graveyard on the last turn.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's kind of wishing that he held off a little bit. Yeah, he's going to check real quick.
Yeah, he
Don't
does
think there's
wish
any
he could
yellows.
have made that Kassai ability. He wants to have the gold here. I think it would help smooth things out for him.
So we have a that all you got, and what is that, a run-through in
Yeah,
his hand?
two yellows. So he's thinking about how to be efficient here.
So, and the cool thing about the new Kassai equipment suite is that he has, like, even though this hand is, like, a little lackluster at this point, he has a lot of options. He's created the agility token. He doesn't really need his run-through. Perhaps he can save that for next turn and use the that all you got to, like, fix his next turn.
Yeah.
One, either to pay into the Grains of Blood Spill, carry that resource over for the next turn, or into the Brave Forge Bracers and just sneak a little more damage in there.
And he may be considering the value of putting a that all you got in arsenal might be greater than the go again. Kassai really likes her go again, but being able to surprise a Katsu that thinks he's about to get an on hit and then he doesn't. Plus, you can just draw a card if it's a low attack.
Right,
You know, stuffing a Kodachi for free or even a 2-power attack is huge.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Let's see what Joel decides to do here. Right, you are.
There it is.
goes
He
run
pitches
through
the
into
run
fixed
through
zone.
saying, I got enough go again in this deck. I value the D-React more.
So yeah, and we also paid for Grains of Blood Spill, got our Vigor token. Another 2 damage. Nicholas just takes it on the chin.
It's a 1-card 5. That's great. That's fantastic value in a game of Flesh and Blood. If he can keep doing that and keep his life total high. Look, 17 to 12.
Yeah,
Chipping
absolutely.
back. Now, Katsu's got 5 cards. This is no walk in the park from here.
And one of them is a Whelming Gust Wave, one of my all-time most terrified of cards that Katsu has. Furthermore, he has an Ancestral Empowerment, which is the buff for 1, draw a card, and he still has Breaking Scales. Joel is a really good player. He's going to be playing around the buff from breaking scales without question.
Yep.
That being said, if there's an ancestral empowerment on the back end of it, it's just another one of those instances where Katsu can really punish you.
Well, that's why the D-React is so valuable in the arsenal.
Very, very valid point.
Starting the chain with a Kodachi. Just kind of saying, like, look, man, it's just 1 damage.
Yeah.
No big deal, right?
And good point there, Breezy. I think Joel accidentally cleared away his vigor. Oh, he brought it back. Okay, thank goodness. He had cleared away his vigor from the grains of blood spill, but he brought it back. All's well that ends well. It's Christmas again in Tinseltown. Harmonized Kodachi, 1 go again.
Is he thinking about...
I feel like I would hold on to that.
Yeah,
that
it's tough. You don't...
A little
yeah,
longer.
yeah. I think the value of preventing... No, he says, look...
He goes for it.
Free 1 point of value. He's going for the value game.
That's why he's there and I'm here.
Sure.
And still happy to be, mind you.
Yeah.
Another Kodachi.
Take
Joel
1.
takes it right to the chest. Here comes Descendant Gust Wave. This is just going to be 3 go again.
Now, this draws a card at the end of the chain. Is that correct?
I do believe that is correct.
Okay, so he didn't miss anything there for those watching, wondering why he didn't draw that card.
Ooh, here's a fun... That reminds me. Here's a fun bit of Victor trivia for you. What was the first mention of...
Hold on, I'm going to pause that because he just
here we go.
empowerment. I wonder if Joel is regretting using that defense reaction on the Kodachi because he's taking the same amount of damage here. I mean, yeah, he'll get to draw a card at the end of the chain when he knows that it's only for 1, but...
It's a good question. I think whatever is going to happen here, it's all going to hinge on this Katsu ability. What Nicholas is able to find off of it. I see an Art of War, though. Is it possible he doesn't have any 0 costs in his hand to discard a Katsu?
Huh.
That would be a bummer.
Well, he's certainly got his best poker face on, acting like, I can if I want. I'm just thinking if I want to.
Nick is cool and prickly as a cucumber.
Yeah.
I swear. Yeah, no, he doesn't give anything away when you're sitting across the table from him.
Hard man to read that one.
Indeed.
Both of them, though. I mean, I don't know if I've seen a single emotion from either of their faces.
Yeah, no, I'm not detecting any. They look great, though.
They look phenomenal.
Everybody wearing their best.
Handsome men. Locked in, focused up.
Nick is still interesting. He continues. Okay, so we've activated Katsu. I thought he was still looking through his graveyard. That's his deck. Looks like he is going to find, I would guess, eeny, meeny, miny, Bonds of Ancestry. But he finds 100 wins instead. Perhaps he has Bonds in hand already?
Again. Maybe he has Bonds already. It's an interesting choice, though. It kind of makes me feel like maybe he doesn't...
Here it is.
Aha.
So then perhaps he will find another 100 wins.
And
see if he can chain these two
So
together.
he's looking for that back-end value on the second 100 wins, just saying, like, look, this one might not be for 4, but the next one I get will be.
Because at this point in the game, with life totals this low, the numbers are going to do the talking.
Yep.
Perhaps less so the text on Dishonor or something like that. It's all going to be about the numbers.
Oh, and he's found 200 wins. Now, so I'm sorry, he banished one and then searched for the other one. Right,
That's correct.
right.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is going to be a lot of damage coming through. And I think if I was correct, and that card left in his hand is Art of War, he has no pitch to use for it. So he's going to do what he did before,
just
pack it in Arsenal, and get ready for another nasty turn.
So he is just spreading all of his damage out so that he can get consistent big turn after turn after turn, doing it so well, stringing these combos together like a true ninja.
Oh, and the quintessential part of every turn that every ninja player loves, the point at which you have to drag all of your cards over to the left to make room for a bigger combat chain.
Like an old typewriter, just cha-ching!
Yeah, exactly.
Going on to the next line.
And so here is 7 more points of damage. And Joel getting stripped clean of all of his
dropping
cards.
the Blade Flurry, saying 3 block is worth more than 4 attack in this position.
Yeah, absolutely. So Joel, it's not all over for Joel. He does have 1 free sword swing on the next turn. Was that a glint?
It was. I wonder if he's wishful thinking he could give go again and draw a card or something like that. Or maybe he just wants to arsenal that. But yeah, you know, here we are, the life totals, much bigger gap
than
at the start of this turn. 12 to 17 felt a lot better than 6, and Joel probably just sent. Oh wait, he drew the extra card from the. So he's keeping the glint. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if he's planning on playing it or if he just wants
Yeah.
it for pitch.
You think the Blade Flurry would have been a better keep?
I'm thinking. I mean, he didn't know that he has go again, right?
Yeah.
So if he keeps the Blade Flurry and he's on 3, like that's a bad situation,
Yeah.
and then you can't really play the Blade Flurry if you don't have go again. So
Looks like it's a Blood on Her Hands is the other
oh,
card in his hand.
okay, he has gotten no copper this game. That
we
is
have
a
seen-
useless card.
We've seen no Outland Skirmishes or Spoils of War turns.
And
this
you got to
game.
think, okay, he just, spends the card, gives the go again. And
And he says, this card is doing nothing in my hand. I'm just going to pitch it to
yeah,
Grains
pitch,
and a
Grains,
Saber.
and Saber.
So Kassai is still out here.
And he gets the gold as well. So like silver, gold lining.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Definitely a faux gold lining
Mhm.
in this case.
Feels more like a bronze lining to me. Not the best position
Yeah,
to be in. 13 to 6. Katsu with a 5-card hand. An
And I'm
Art of War.
Art of War and Arsenal, and I'm just noticing Art of War in hand as well.
Ooh.
This is going to be a double Art of War.
This is just brutal. Joel staring down this double-barreled Art of War turn.
Yeah, at 6 life, that's nothing to sneeze at,
He's
unless
in
you're
trouble.
allergic. Here comes Nicholas, thinking about all of the different ways he could end Joel's run right now. That being said, I think Joel might be locked for top 8 if he is. I think both of these
Yeah.
players might be.
Well, that's
if I'm not
fantastic.
mistaken, and if I understand
Maybe
the
that
brackets.
they're looking calm because they know they got it.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter. This is a game for fun, and every game is for fun. But in this case, being locked in for top 8 really takes a lot of pressure off of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are always the games I seem to win. Of course, is where there are no stakes to it
No
whatsoever.
stakes game. Well, it's all about the mental sometimes when
True.
it comes to games like this, and having that nice mental is a boon.
So here's Art of War number 1. We banished a Be Like Water. We drew 2 cards. And Nick goes, I had 5 cards before. Now I have 5 cards in hand. Oh, wait, he used Tunic Trigger. Now I have.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
wishing we had that balance of justice.
He has got a lot of decision points here, I'm sure.
Yeah, just trying to be efficient here, trying to make sure that when he lays it down for good.
Yeah, absolutely. He lays Joel into his casket.
Yeah, he's
safely
really
and
looking to end
soundly.
the game here. And just thinking about the most effective way to do that. Break points, surprises, It's kind of interesting to see leading with the Art of War. I wonder if that tips Joel off about the second one.
Joel has been uniquely able to kind of sniff out when these pumps and breakpoints are going to come in, save for, of course, the ancestral empowerment on that last big
Sure.
turn. But like, I don't know. Joel is just a rock solid player. He can really sniff out when these power turns are coming.
Blocking 3.
I'm not sure if it's going to matter though.
Is this a Be Like Water or a yellow?
That was a
what is-
descendant
a
gust.
yellow
wave.
descending gust wave.
Yeah.
Okay, so coming in for 3. Right, of course. If it was a Be Like Water, it would be coming in for 4.
Yeah. So if we we're gonna kind of get clued into what Nick is thinking, and how critical that Katsu ability is going to be on this turn. Basically, whether or not he snaps that Art of War to get the 1 breakpoint in and fix his hand. He goes for it.
Yep. He wants to hit here. He wants to get that Katsu trigger.
He banishes a Bonds of Ancestry. That's really interesting.
So he must have kept one, or he just...
Quite possibly, yeah. I can't think of many other reasons to do it.
Yeah.
Maybe it was because he had to find a 0 cost.
Oh, okay.
To discard to Katsu. I see a Dishonor in hand, so he found the 0 cost.
Yep.
Still thinking about it though. One of the points of skill expression in these Katsu decks is really knowing what is in your graveyard, what is in your banish, like
Yeah.
how much gas is left, because it's like it's kind of like Azalea and Knock the Death Whistle and Codex and stuff. It's like you never want to be in a situation where you fail to search or
Absolutely.
fail to find. I'm sorry.
And,
where
and you
search
can
and fail to
see
find.
him constantly checking that graveyard,
Mhm.
constantly checking the banish. He knows that he needs to keep that information fresh in his mind.
Absolutely. So he goes ahead and discards the Dishonor. Perhaps that was that fabled 0 cost that he needed to find. Curious to see what he's going to get. I would think it'll be a Bonds. I think we have one more red one left in the deck.
He's checking his hand to make sure it's not in there.
Yeah. Man, Nick is so on top of it.
Yep.
And he still has that breaking scales piece
Mm.
at his disposal.
Saving it, taunting Joel with it, saying,
Mhm.
every single one of these combo cards, I could, if I wanted to, pump it up.
So here he goes with the 100 wins again. Finding only a yellow one because we've used our red ones. Yellow
Yep.
Bonds of Ancestry, which is probably explaining to us why he banished one
Yeah.
previously.
So he must be out of reds then
Mhm.
in his deck.
So perhaps this is just going to be 100 wins, 100 wins, 100 wins, 100 wins. Perhaps up to 100 times.
Wow. That many wins. Now, didn't he played them all, so they're all in his graveyard, which is what allows him to grab them. Man, the recursion that you get.
Yes, Katsu is the recursivist specialist in this game. Actually, that's not true. That's probably Chain. Chain's probably the recursivist.
Yes, but he's also no longer with us, unfortunately, in this format.
Oh, did he die?
Chain?
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
He's a legend. A living
Oh!
legend.
That was my mistake. I thought he was a dead legend.
No. That is a mistake.
Okay, so we find Flusterfist, and we find 100 wins. Flusterfist is not going to have its combo turned on because I believe it is turned on by Open the Center. It's been a while since I've looked at Welcome to Wraith.
Yeah, no,
cards.
they the Flusterfist in this list is just played because it's the only combo that blocks for 3 and comes in for 4. It's
Yep.
just the highest vanilla you can do.
And is 0 cost, so it turns on things like Kadachi and also is discardable to Katsu.
Yep. And here we are throwing up all the equipment in front, blocking out 5, giving up the Grains of Blood spill.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunate because Joel definitely seems to. Oh, hello, Spinning Wheel Kick.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a good card to have here. It has Natural Go again.
6
He's gonna
coming
get
in.
double buffed.
There's the rest of the hand, and he's got 2 more cards showing 100 wins for 4 and the fist bump for lethal.
Yeah, that's going to be 10 points
Woo!
of I'm sorry, 6
Wow.
points of overkill right there. Those were
after turn. That Katsu was slamming.
Yeah, absolutely. That was those were probably some of the most explosive Katsu, well, consistent and explosive Katsu turns
That
we've
was
seen today.
very well piloted.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, like always, a little bit of luck on the side of drawing, but I am so impressed with his ability to look at an Art of War and say, I'll save you for later.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of discipline
Yeah.
in that, and I'm sure a lot of reps that have
Sure.
gone into
And
that.
he ended the game with his breaking scales. Didn't even use it.
Yeah, who needs it, right? I'll just kill you
Yeah.
the easy way.
You just use it for a last resort. He had at least 2 more resorts before he needed to use those.
Yeah, 100%. Another fantastic game here at the AGE in March. We don't go anywhere because we've got an interview with Nicholas Tagg on Katsu in just a moment. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, with the winner of our last match, Nicholas Tagg. Is it Tagg? Tagg?
Tagg. Yeah.
Tagg. Nicholas Tagg on Katsu the Wanderer. Those were some insane turns. Walk me through how you were feeling when you saw the double Art of War.
I wasn't planning on double Art of War, but I knew there was a chance because I only had about 20 cards left in the deck. I needed anything that I could pitch to Katsu trigger. I knew that I could get to lethal that turn if I could force him to block a bunch of go-agains, even if they were little. The second Art of War did help a lot, though, because it made the only thing I could tutor, which was at yellow, be 0-4, so he couldn't just block it out.
That's amazing. Yeah, you ended up getting, I think it was 6 overkill value.
Yeah.
It was a fearsome couple turns on Katsu.
Yes, and I got lucky early. I kept seeing the combo, obviously.
Yeah.
Got very lucky. I was iffy on popping the mask when I did pop it. I almost got tenacity, but I felt like he wasn't going to block if I got tenacity. So I got dishonor to force him to block just so I could keep tempo the rest of the game.
Yeah, and that was really smart because we saw you reaching for that mask really early in that turn too, and we were kind of like, yeah, that's really smart because a lot of times Katsus can get, kind of blocked out after that point when you kind of detect that they want to go for it.
Yeah.
But you played it cool. You found it on the bonds, and yeah, went for the dishonor line. That was really really smart. Figuring that Joel wasn't going to block because we both definitely thought he was going to.
Yeah. Well, I figured if he saw the tenacity, he wouldn't block.
Yeah,
So,
100%.
and I am still kind of newer, so I'm still learning. I've only been in the game like 3 or 4 months now. So.
Yeah, I think, and I think the last time you and I played together, you were on Dromai, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
Yeah, I started Dromai when I first started because I was borrowing a Dromai deck from somebody. I really hate the Dromai mirror.
Yeah.
And I hate being held hostage by Guardian for 45 minutes.
Yep.
On Dromai. So I pivoted to Kano. I've been playing a lot of Kano. Recently was trying out Katsu. I've only been playing Katsu like 2 weeks, but I love it.
Wow, awesome. And so what drew you to the hero and what is keeping you faithful to him?
He's a physical version of Kano.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what it feels like.
That's interesting. Yeah. So, I mean, in terms of like figuring out the math of the combo lines and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Just trying to present a big turn and then put pressure on your opponent the rest of the game.
And he also helps you get lunch early too.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
that's a big one.
I definitely feel you on the like mental fatigue is a real consideration for what deck you bring.
Yeah.
Are you going to the Pro Tour?
I am. I'm a calling pleb though, obviously.
Okay.
So
Nothing wrong with that.
I'll be in the calling, but I will most likely be playing Katsu.
Cool. And how do you feel about his current position in the meta? Because here in the booth, we've been kind of calling him a sleeper deck a little bit. Like he doesn't have a whole lot of popularity, but clearly he can dish out some serious damage to the top meta decks.
So I don't think he has very many, if any, bad matchups. And the reason I think that is because he can high roll any deck in the game. Bravo is a little bit iffy. A lot of people think that he's bad into Victor, but I've done quite well, especially with double tenacity. I think he can, except for fatigue, which I think fatigue's being pushed out by other decks like Kano and Dromai right now. I think he feels very good. I don't think he has a very bad matchup.
Yeah, awesome. And so what do you think accounts for the fact that he hasn't had like the most amount of popularity of late?
I'm not sure on that.
Yeah.
I think he's strong. Maybe because Phi was pretty popular, and once Phi dipped, people just didn't gravitate to Katsu. But if you look at the RTN wins, I mean, he had it. He's what, like top 5?
Yeah, absolutely.
So-
So maybe we should expect a lot of him at Pro Tour.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Nick. That was an incredible game, and I mean, you're definitely locked for talk.
Yeah,
top
I'm
eight at this
5 and
point.
1. I should be locked for top.
Yeah, can't wait to see what you bring
Thank
to the
you.
table there.
Hopefully, I keep high rolling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
We will be back after a short break. After a long break, after a dinner break, in fact. We're going to do top 8 standings first, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to be back in a short break, and we will reveal our top 8. Thank you so much. Don't go anywhere.